So this time I'm going to show you how I did the other side of my junk journal pages for your Paper Pantry September swap, which was a girly crafter technique pages. So on this side I did another video with the brayer with rubber bands wrapped around it and some embossing ink and embossing powder. So the theme is like a girly pink, and you had to also show how, you know, some of your favorite techniques to do. So here's my other side. And what I did here was some decoupaging with patterns, and then also I like embedded these letters so the pattern paper goes over the top. And then I have a stamp here. This stamp. I made this little dress and I just gathered that up and then with my sewing machine and glued it on there onto the dress form. But I wanted to show you how I do my get my patterns, my pattern paper. I was getting it at a thrift store, but it has, you know, like a smell to it, you know, the older it gets, and you can't really get that smell out. And I know a lot of people have allergies, including me, and it's just, I don't like the smell of that. So what I do is I wait until the patterns go on sale at Joann's for 99 cents or Hobby Lobby, and then I go, I just raid the drawer and I find the one with the biggest hunk of pattern paper that I can find, and it's usually for costumes or like prom dresses or wedding dresses. Those usually have the biggest piece in there, so I don't even, you know, and then also the bigger the sizes are, so that way you got nice fresh pattern paper. It doesn't have a smell to it, and it's probably about the same price as getting it at a thrift store. Okay, and then also I use this, I use this for my decoupaging. It's from Beacon and it's a fast finish, and unlike the other stuff, this Mod Podge stuff, this leaves things feeling kind of sticky even when it's finished. Like I know Candace was having some problems with the mail swap because people, I mean, it looks really cool when you use Mod Podge on stuff, but they stick together, and especially in the mail, if they get any kind of heat or moisture on them, they just stick together and they're hard to get back apart. But this stuff dries completely hard finish. It's super fast, way faster than this stuff to dry, and the finish is hard, but it's completely no tack to it at all. Never tacky. So it's what I usually use, and it's really easy. I'll show you how to use it. It's really a lot easier. So I'll get started on those. So the first thing I do is I like the patterns that have, of course, the writing on them, and the first thing I do is recommend a manageable pieces and then just crumple them all together. Not together, but crumple them up. And I have a bunch of them sitting over here. Here's. So this is going to go on the opposite side of my junk art page. And I just dump this stuff on there. And I find the more texture you give these things, the better they look. So I just mush it all down. And go over it. And you have to do a few layers of this tissue paper because it's so thin. telling you guys, once you guys try this stuff, you'll never go back to the other stuff. It's so much easier. And after I'm done putting all the layers on, I'll fold these over, all the edges, and just use that as part of my layers. Okay, so this is one that's dry, and I've stamped my image here with some stays on. And this is the side that's going to get bound together when Mona gets it, so I'm going to keep away from here. But these are some foam thickers, but you can use any. It's a good way to use up letters, like when you don't have enough of something, of a set to do something else with. Or you can use mixed colors, because they're not going to show up. You can use mixed colors because the colors aren't going to show through. So I'm just going to do art again, and I'm kind of just doing it random. You want to leave enough space between them that you can get in there with your tool. So that's good. And then you just need some more of the tissue paper, just some smaller pieces. And you're going to use your brush and the same Mod Podge, and then something to poke the holes if you have any. So first I start with the decoupage. Nice thick coat all the way around it. And then you just push the paper down with the brush to get all in between. And the more you saturate it, the closer to the letters the paper's going to go. And then you can just, push the rest of it into. And then if you want, you can use a smaller brush to push down, or if you find you get a big bubble, you can just kind of pop it. And then that way you can push it down farther instead of having a big puff there. And that's it. You just keep layering the paper over until you get the look that you want. So here's what it looks like after I've sprayed it. Since this theme was pink, I used some pink dilutions. This one's bubblegum pink spray by Ranger. It sticks a lot better. I tried at first to use like the Tattered Angels, but the sparkle and stuff just don't show up in it as well. So this is really, as you can see around here, it's really deep and it sticks really well. So now I have the stamp, the letters, the ink, and then the last thing I need to do is make the dress. So I used some of this lace that I got in a rack. Actually, I think it was a hostess gift. And I just kind of measured like double. And then I used my sewing machine to make a straight stitch and then just pulled it to gather it. But you could also just, gather it by hand with your glue gun, or however, you gather it up. So I gathered it up, and then I took some of this 1/8 inch ribbon, made a little bow for it, and then what I ended up with was this dress. So that is the flip side of my pages for the junk journal pages. That's hosted by Mona over at Your Paper Pantry, and each month she comes up with a great theme, and you send your pages to her, and she takes a page from each person and makes a nice book and sends it back to each of the participants of the swap. So So I hope you'll come on over to your paper pantry and join us for some cool swaps. Swaps are just now opening for November today.